Hello and welcome to Thematically Speaking, where we talk to people in and around the theme park community. And today we've got him back for the second time ever, the first two-timer on this show. It is Keiron Quinn from Screamfest.
Hello! I'm good, how are you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. Because we were trying to muck about quickly, David's comments disappeared on my screen here, but he had a comment regarding acting.
Right.
What was your favourite? I think it was like what maze did you enjoy acting in the most?
Oh, see, that's a tricky one because every maze has had its moments that made me go, "This is the one." But I think ultimately, and it was on an episode 2 weeks ago, Sanctuary. It has to be. It was just the peak, you know. I don't think I need to say anything more than that because everything that everyone said in that episode, I was sitting there going, "Yeah, that's the one. That's it. Yeah." So I'd just go back and watch
people
that
saying
episode.
It was good and they should have kept it, but they didn't. That just seemed like what the
Yeah,
conversation was
no,
at the time.
absolutely. I agree, and you know, if there was ever an opportunity to bring it back and do it again, 100% would be there as well.
Did we talk about you before we get into all this set design and stuff, which I want to get into? When we were on before, did we talk? Well, the theme park fan, did we talk about how you got into start acting or not? Did we not talk about it?
No, I don't think we did. It was mostly just about theme park fan. Oh God, when did I get into acting? A long time ago. Actually, to be fair, not well. No, it is a long time ago. I forget how old I am. When I was a kid in middle school over here in the Midlands, we have 3 schools. We have the first school, middle school, and then high
we have
school.
that here. We have that down south as well.
Oh, right, awesome. It's very weird. A lot of people are like, "What? You had 3 schools?" It's like, yes, it's the norm here. In middle school, I had a friend who me and him used to have good rapport with each other, and we always used to think about Drake and Josh and being like, "Oh, we'd love to be the next Drake and Josh."
Oh yeah.
That never happened, obviously, but I followed that on. In our high school, we had a very good drama department and our own theatre there. So I just took up the reins from there and carried it on, really, from high school. And then many shows later and jobs later, I'm still doing it somehow.
Was that around the same time? Was it not long after that when, I don't know if you want me to bring this up, when you first, I think it was the first maze you had a go at trying to make in that pub basement?
Yeah, the Royal Asylum. We don't talk about that. Never happened. No, it was quite a few years before that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 2012 when that came about. And that was my first year at the Academy for Theatre Arts, which is a drama school I went to. I got approached by Sam Clues, who a lot of people might know, ring the name, and he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing. Do you want to get involved?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I came in to basically help with the acting, the costumes, and everything in between. I was essentially an assistant manager on that project.
Was that when Scream Effect started?
No, sort of. It was the sort of pin drop idea of maybe I could do something to do with this side of things. But it wasn't really the start of it. That came much later, which I'm sure we'll talk about in order of things. But when I left Thorpe Park, when I worked there, I had a year basically to myself, and that's when I set it up properly after years of just being a sort of back bedroom business. You know.
Did you work at Thorpe?
No, I started at Towers and then went to Thorpe and then came back.
How did Thorpe compare to Towers? Or are you not allowed to say? I don't want to make you say anything.
Obviously, I can't say too much, but working with Merlin and still working with the company, I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about them, but obviously, you know what our social media policies are like with things anyway, I'm sure. But no, both places are very different. To be honest, working at and experiencing it as a guest, you know, the experience you get as a guest is different at both parks, as is backstage at the places. It's very different. You know, both has their pros and cons, but both was just as amazing to work at. So,
would you say when you did that pub maze, was that when you started getting involved in liking the set, making the set design?
No, I was already interested in that because my dad's a carpenter. So, well, before he retired, he was anyway. So as a kid, I'd always be going out on jobs with him and helping him in his little workshop and doing things like that. So I was already interested in, making stuff. And I sort of just grew from there. But when we did the Royal Asylum, that was the sort of real time putting stuff into practice in an environment like that. Which again made me go, maybe I can just, merge these things together with the skills that I've got and the interest that I had at the time, which, is a very strong interest. At the time in scare performance is what I didn't really know what the industry was then. We've come a long way. But, that was the sort of start of maybe I could merge these sorts of things and work something out to be always working, really, which is what I wanted to be doing.
Do we want to get on? I really want to get onto this because my next question does it anyway. Because you've got these dioramas, which I think are incredible. But what was your first one?
Well,
you still got it?
Yeah, I suppose I do. So I used to have, still have.
I mean, I can get some photos up, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, I had a model railway. There's Sanctuary. It's still in the attic, and I was interested in model making and doing that from a very young age, actually. And for a high school science project, I remember nobody wanted to. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Well, Mum's just disrupting the live there. Yeah, for a science high fair project, we had to. High school science project. That would make more sense. A high school, whatever. Really throws me when I'm in the moment. We had to do a science project, and it was about renewable energy. And nobody wanted to work with me, so I ended up doing the project on my own. And I did it about wind power. So I made, with the help of my dad at the time as well, a miniature wind turbine. And I've still got that somewhere in on the layout. I sort of made it to be scaled with that, but it was very basic, an amateurish. I was a kid, so of course it was. But that was the first thing I made. And then I made, odd bits here and there throughout the years. And then it was only about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when I had the crazy idea to make Carnival of Screams as a miniature. And the big top.
In this slide.
Yeah. There they are.
Because I thought this was incredible. Here we go, for people watching. That's like the evolution of...
so that's Poco, which was my clown from Carnival of Screams, which was my first professional debut as a scare actor. I love playing that character. I just had so much fun.
I don't know if we talked about it. I remember when I first went in that maze when you were in it, and for some reason I seem to remember that corridor. It was failing near the start, and it looked like there was a doorway, but there wasn't. You just made our friend James Sultan walk head first into a wall.
Yeah, I used to love doing that to people. Yeah,
you were like ushering him this way, and he just walked smack into a wall.
I do have to say, that wasn't me dicking about. That was directed to do that. It was meant to be a, come on, play with them, go through the door. And, they're supposed to push it with the hands, and he just went donk. But, that's what we were told to do, so I did.
Because these are different ones. So the one on the right was when it was, hang on. The one on the right was that when it was off Park, when it was near the hotel?
No. So the one on the left is Carnival of Screams from Alton Towers, and then the other one's the Big Top from Thorpe Park. So they're both.
I guess that shows how much they copied it.
Yeah, the way I like to refer to it is they're the two Merlin clown mazes, because those are really the ones to think of.
Probably, so yeah.
But they're both different designs. Like they offer different challenges. Like Carnival's very run down and grimy. In fact, I was speaking about this today to someone. Carnival was very run down and grimy, and really greasy and dirty. All the characters you meet are all greasy and slimy. Big Top is more colourful and fresh, as if the Carnival has literally just rolled into town. It's brand new. So everything was vibrant and all
I know you're
clean
not allowed
with
to
that
say anything
little
bad
hint of
about them,
wrongness, you know.
but the one
Yeah,
question I
go
have
on.
got, I remember from Big Top, I only went on Big Top the first year it was there, but I remember thinking when we went through the characters and you had the Figaro brothers, and then this one character went, "This is the circus baby," and it was like a big man just about, and I'm like, when has that been a staple of any circus? It's like, here's your
Well,
elephants, here's your clowns, here's your giant baby.
yeah,
I was just like, what?
I can answer that one. It's freak shows. So back
Oh,
in
okay.
whatever year when they had freak shows, they would have people like the bearded lady and the giant baby and things like that. So yeah, that's where they would have got that from. I mean, I wasn't involved with any of that, so I couldn't say for sure, but that's where that style comes from. Yeah,
I think I
which
prefer
is a
the
bit
animation
random
ones,
though.
though.
Yeah, I mean, I like them both. I think they both offer two very different experiences, very similar but different. Um, but the models I printed them off to scale first of all. I went, right, this is the scale that I want to make them at,
Yeah.
and it's just every model that I make's a random scale really, apart from Sanctuary, which is 6-inch scale. I couldn't tell you the actual inches for that. The actual 1/47 or whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever 6-inch scale is, that's what I based it off because I knew that'd be easy to make, basically. But I had this idea. It was at the same time I was making Jewel. Jewel will be very easy to make because it's a house, and they're very easy to construct. They're mostly blocks, and you can.
I wasn't sure if it was technically the haunted house, the one you were making. I thought you were going for the original when you made it. But I didn't really like that.
I just call it Jewel now because everyone else does, but it is the haunted house. It is based off. Even though they're the same building, there's subtle hints in difference of the colours and the interior, which I've tried to get as close to the OG interior with the portraits.
I don't actually have any photos of it on this set of slides, to be fair, funnily enough.
But it's the best one. But no,
I know, it's my favourite one. So you've got the lighting in there as well.
Yes. Yeah. I'll talk about that in a sec.
When I first saw it, the thing that impressed me the most to begin with, what I saw was the doors open, you've got the pictures there, and that entranceway, and the lights are above the pictures, and I just thought, the scale you've done that on.
Yeah.
I was trying to fathom.
Oh yeah.
How much work went into that.
So I don't think I have any PVC pipe left from that project. I have some square tubing. That's the same dimension. No, I don't. This is the same scale. So to make those lights, I came up with a very crazy idea. Let me just grab some stuff here if I've got one. So your normal typical LEDs are, I've got some stuff. Yes. So these are what are on the Sanctuary lights, and these are about one of these 10mm LEDs. So these are your typical LEDs you'll find in stuff, quite big chunky boys. These ones, however, are so small and so dinky you might not even see it on camera. It's a little tiny dot, and I mean teeny tiny dot. If I put it, there we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That is the LED. It's so small, and compare that to the other. It's literally the filament inside. That's what these ones are. And I thought
that?
They're very cheap
compared to a normal.
Very,
okay.
very cheap.
I thought because they're quite small.
I think I got about 10 of them for £7-ish, which isn't too bad. And they're very good. You can burn them out easily if you don't know what you're doing with electronics, which I don't. But it's why you get bulk of them, and you really. I'll just tidy this up later. Just go to town on things. But I wanted to see what was the possible smallest LED I could get, because I knew I wanted the chandelier in the window to light up, the candelabra, sorry. And I thought, these look good, that might work. And I had to make my own candelabra for it, which was a pain. But then I thought, you can buy, this isn't the stuff, this is just bamboo, but it's the same thickness. This is about close to about 1mm thickness. Model PVC piping, and it's hollow on the inside. So all I did is chop them down to a dimension, cut a little hole in the back, mount the and also across the front, mounted the LED inside, and then with some copper wire, which is I ran out of apparently. I keep everything above me that's useful, which is a similar gauging. Glued the wire of the LEDs around that and shaped it into place to make the arm of it. So the wires were then concealed, and it looked good. And when it's all lit up, it looks, if I do say so myself, really cool. And then if you go back to the Altonville, you took them off. The Altonville model, which is next to me, I'll get it out in a bit. That uses the same LEDs. So I refurbished that one. It was the first one to get changed, because I wanted to put lights in it. And that was always a feature I wanted to do, but I never had LEDs small enough until I got these ones. So the 3 lights on top have got them in, and there's also a little light behind, which you can see in the middle, which is meant to be a storm lantern, which also I modelled over and round and put one of the LEDs in to make it that as well. So, you know, they've...
How long does something like that take? Like the Altonville one, for example?
The Altonville wall took me about 6 hours.
That's quite quick.
I would say.
Can you see how much detail's come into that?
Yeah, so to be honest, Altonville was the quickest out of everything because there isn't much to it. Although there looks like there is, there really isn't, because it's all about the finish of the thing. And it's not to an exact scale. The foliage, I just literally picked from the garden, little trees and bits of dead stuff and sprayed.
That's actually real foliage, is it?
Yeah, they're real bits of trees, because the best way to make a tree look miniature is to just use an actual tree. So yeah, that's real foliage. The gravel's real.
Here we go. Here we go. We're talking about lighting.
Yes.
These are the dioramas I was on about. No.
Now, yeah, I like to call these a memory capture box. So these are 6-inch scale again. That's the size of the figures. So everything's based off around that, which is slightly smaller scale to Doll's House. So I can't use Doll's House furniture. So yeah, then Doll's House. I don't know what the scale size is. I should, but I don't. I just go for it.
What paints and inks do you
when
use
it's main product? What? Sorry.
What paints and inks do you use for these? For the details?
Paint is. Oh yes, thanks for the question, Stacey. It's all acrylic and these aqua colours from Revel. Not spawn, but these are model paints. They're really good and they're water based, so you can just rush them off with water on your paint brushes, so it lasts longer. The LEDs in these are all very similar. They are thicker gauge LEDs, but done all pretty much in the same way. So all the lighting's been sculpted around the LED itself. So if the LEDs ever burn out, I'm screwed. But to be honest, the way I see it is if the LEDs burn out, it'll be when I'm dead and gone, and it'll be someone else's problem. Because I won't care. I'll be dead.
Has anyone come across these from like management, and have you made stuff for like the sets?
No, I've so these ones are very particular to me, and obviously with copyright and everything else, and you know, I don't own the licenses to the mazes, I don't own the logo rights or anything like that. These are all just for me as a nice little memory, because everyone's got photos of an attraction that they've been in. And I thought, I'm a model maker, I'm a scenic, what could I do? So I made a figure of Poco. Poco was the first one, and I thought, that's actually quite easy. Could I make more? And if I'm making more, could I, you know, make a diorama? And that's where they came about. So I made the figure and then made the dioramas around them using all basically recycled materials. So the photo frames are all recycled. The only things new are obviously the models themselves. All the materials is recycled as much as possible. Obviously the lighting and wiring looms, they're all new. The figures are second hand. Then have you got
some of the figures? with you now, because what I haven't got here that I used when I was promoting this video was some of the ones where you made the boxes for them. You made like a Wicker Man staff member, and you had the box.
Yeah, so that was for my ex for a Christmas present. She works in Wicker Man, and yeah, she's just like Wicker Man's #1 fan. And I thought, what could I get you for Christmas that you are going to love, that no one else is ever going to have? And I just came up with this crazy idea. What would it be like if Towers themselves sold action figures of ride staff? So I made one. Made the artwork in the box, made the figure inside. I actually made it posable enough that you can change the hands to a dispatch thumb, and you can make it do time, which are the 2 hand signals that we use at the resort. So I was like, well, there we go. That's a little something that's an extra. And then I did the same again this year for someone as well, which, you know,
was that the World of Williams one, or is that something?
Yes, yeah, that's the World of Williams ones. That's from my current partner, who again is obsessed with her job. So I thought, I'm going to do that again, but make 3. Well, she works with me. She works at the resort. She works in the...
Yeah, I know, but the way you said it, does she work in World of Williams or?
Yeah. So yeah. Well, it's her business, but yes, you'll find them around the place in a couple of products.
What I was surprised by last time, went last week, me and Stacey went in the shop and asked about the pre-suck sweets, and they actually had a jar.
Yes, they do have a tub of pre-suck sweets. Yeah. Do
you ever do stuff like Games Workshop?
Yeah, I've just seen the question. No, but yes, I guess I've painted stuff for the Hornby layout years ago. Building
that's big business now.
Big, massive, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's just my opinion, but it can be for adults, but it seems like the real die-hard collectors in that are ruining it for the kids getting into it just because they like trains.
I mean, although I don't model railways anymore, although I'd like to get back into it at some point. I watch a lot of videos. There's Sam's Trains on YouTube. Go check him out. He's great. And he does reviews of models and things for all the trains and rolling stock. And it's amazing the prices, like the big companies, not naming names, Hornby, are charging for models nowadays. And you think, wow, you've got different tiers. You've got your beginners, your railroader, which is your sort of mid-range, and then your pro end. And it's weird because when I was a kid, I was not aware of that. It was just when you get Hornby train for £100, and that's that. Because now there's loads of different styles and different prices, and you're thinking, wow, I can't afford any of this anymore, but it looks great. But to answer your question there, Stacey, the more I'm thinking about it, I used to have a lot of Airfix model kits as a kid. So, a lot of aircrafts and things like that. So I used to paint those. I was never very good at it, but yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about the Furchester or not?
I mean, it's part of my career. It depends on what you're asking. Obviously, I can't answer a lot of.
I was going to ask about the puppeteering aspect of it, but I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a puppeteer as well.
That's the only photo I've got, but I came across it when you sent it to me, and I'm intrigued by how, because it must be a lot deeper the floor there for where you're puppeteering.
Yeah, so in the Furchester itself, we have a puppet pit. I think it's a 6-foot drop. It's probably about, from the floor level you stand on, 3 foot. The bar gives it another 3 foot. So from the top of the bar to the bottom of the floor of the pit, it's about 6 foot.
Have you got a screen showing you what you look like from the outside?
Yeah. So if you've ever seen like behind the scenes in the Muppets with the Henson Company, they have little monitors on them to see or next to them so they can see what they're doing. Furchester's no different to that. In fact, we have 3 screens. So you've got one in the middle, one on the left, and one on the right. So no matter where you are performing, you can have a look, and it shows you from the back looking towards, so the audience view, so you can check your eye line and see where you are and things, which is incredibly useful.
These questions, people are asking questions now. I just wanted to ask about when you trained, the training process for that. Did you have someone from the Henson company come in and teach you, or no? It wasn't.
No, sadly not.
I don't know, because you're using the
I
IP. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, I think when it opened, the original cast had someone from Sesame Street or one of those guys come down. Furchester is essentially the UK version of Sesame Street. They had one of the guys come in and do puppetry workshop with them. We didn't have that. We just had the show captains. So, like with any attraction, I know it was mentioned in the Sanctuary episode. Show captains there to basically make sure everything's running smoothly, go through the day, look after the team. They also run rehearsals, so they're there to. Oh, Jerry! Sorry, I've just seen Jerry coming. Hello, Jerry. Yeah, they're basically there to help run an operation side of things and to rehearse the cast. So we just had those. But I'd already done puppetry before this anyway, so I obviously had experience in it. And every puppet you use is different, but it's all the same in the same type thing. But the one thing with the Furchester when I worked on that is in the past when I've used puppets, I've only used one arm rod. So the puppets themselves have two rods up their arms, so you can obviously move them. I've only ever used the one. So one of the skills that I had to work out and figure out how to work was to use two rods, because you use one hand. Obviously, one hand's up the puppet and the other hand's here. So to make them do different things.
Oh, using two rods in the other hand, you mean?
Yeah. So as
two rods and the mouth.
Yeah. So essentially, let me just use two props here. Here's two props I made earlier. So these are arrows, but imagine these are the rods. They sort of go up, and as you're up here doing stuff, you have to move them around. So if you want your arms to go wide, you have to obviously widen them, close it down. You're pointing over there. You're moving them around. It's a lot of hand-eye coordination. Oh yeah, you mess it up all the time. It's very tricky to do. But that was one of the skills that I learned there, to use the other hand, because normally I just drop an arm out and do not use it. But you had to use both for that, really.
So,
they let you off a little bit to begin with, whilst you get the hang of it. But once you get the swing,
you can't make mistakes all the time.
Yeah, no, you can't. Once you've been on it for about a week or so, that's it. No errors, basically, which is the same everywhere professionally. You have your rehearsal time. That's the time to make mistakes. Then when you're actually doing it, you're going to make mistakes here and there anyway, no matter what you do. But it is obviously expected professionally of you to just be always on the ball.
I think the good thing is
the kids directly.
The kids are in so much awe sometimes in there; they're not going to really notice.
Oh yeah, no one ever really notices you mess up. You notice yourself mess up all the time, no matter what it is. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of other people don't recognise at all. What is difficult though, especially with the Furchester, is you're using. I suppose I can say this, yeah. You're using a character that other people know, and that character has to move exactly as the real counterpart moves, because you are that character. With puppetry, it doesn't matter what kind of puppet it is, whether it's Sooty and Sweep or the Veggies from Mr. Bloom's. They are already out there doing the movement, so you have to copy that. I think the most famous for getting it wrong is Kermit the Frog, because Kermit originally is obviously sculpted around Jim Henson's hand. That's what forms the shape of Kermit. No matter what you do as Kermit, if your hand or the padding isn't to the size of Jim Henson, it's not going to be Kermit. It'll be close to Kermit, but it won't be. People notice things like that. So you obviously have to, as well as everything else, make sure you are being strict on your character points, that they are performing as they would anywhere else.
Yeah. So what's your favourite thing you've made? Lizzie Kappa says.
My favourite I've made so many things that I love. It's hard to pick my favourite. It really is. Listen, I've made some cracking things over the years that have even impressed me, like making a bumper car out of wood. It was stupid, absolutely crazy. We did it.
What, a real size one?
Oh yeah, full size. It's on the drive. It's literally covered up. It was made for a production at Stafford Gatehouse of All Shook Up. The director reached out to me and was just like, "Hey, all the prop houses haven't got anything in for a decent price or anything at the moment. Could you make one?" I was like, "Yeah." Bullshitted my way through it. Excuse the French, because I was like, I don't actually know if it's feasible, but I just went, "Yep," and then made it happen. So we did, and yeah, it was brilliant. And also, what made that better is I had about 2 weeks to make it, but one of those weeks I was in Spain, so I had a week, and then got back, and then it got picked up. I literally got back from Spain, had a day to finish off little detailings, and then they came and picked it up and put it on stage. So it's kind of a chaotic time. But to answer the question, everything.
Would you say the haunted house?
I'm leaning towards that because everyone likes it. Like, everyone likes it. Everyone that I've shown it to, or anyone that's gone, "Oh my god, you've made this," they just love it. So I'd probably have to say that. But
that's until you do your own version of detailed version of the mini golf at Alton Towers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it in your garden if you want. But yeah, no, we'll just say that because everything that I've made has a special purpose and a reason. Like I say, in miniature terms, probably the haunted house. In actual larger terms, Death Cell. Death Cell was a massive thing. But I've done a load of set design for the Academy that I'm very proud of. So yeah, it's just difficult to choose.
Jack Rock says, "What made you first get into the immersive attractions industry?"
Oh God, I don't know. I think whilst I was studying, I was always keen on doing more, and I always wanted to basically just be working. And obviously, I use theme parks as a fantastical escapism. Yeah, I mean, I got horrendously bullied at school, so going to the theme park at the weekend was my way of forgetting that life is bad, basically. And obviously, when you're there, you sit down and have food, watch things like the pirate show, which I was later a part of. Go through scare mazes, watch other shows and events, and you're thinking, wow, there's more to it, theatre, than just
what you see,
the stage and TV and films and obviously voiceovers and things like that. So it was probably my use of escapism that got me into things, and then from there I just went, oh, it'd be nice to be part of that. And then when I left drama school in 2013, I applied for Scarefest the same year, and that's when I got properly into it and learned more about it, and still do learn about it every single day. The industry is constantly changing, so it's become a passion and drive to learn as much as I can and constantly progress and grow and learn from other people in the industry around me, and work with each other, because some of the stuff we're coming up with, man's amazing. So being part of that in any sense is just, gives me a great buzz.
I'll try and make it bigger again, but that is Jerry Cannell on the TV.
Silly question, mate. Is that me behind the TV set, Jerry? Jerry. Yes, it is. The photo.
The one on the right looks
like
he's presenting the weather.
Yeah, so the one on the left is Jerry, and the one on the right is Michael Haynes, who was
I hear a lot
Professor
about
Sheriff.
Michael Haynes. He's a bit of a legend. I've met him a couple of times, but
really pleased to call Mike a friend, and so pleased I've had the pleasure of working with him as well many times. But yes, Jerry, you are in the miniature, and actually, whilst you're here, Jerry. So I made your corridor because I covered you for a couple of days that year, and I thought, oh, we'll just make the corridor. Why not? It's an iconic scene. And I thought about making a miniature version of you to put in there. I later changed my mind, but I thought, we can get you on the screen, and then you're forever captured in that moment.
If the Alton Towers did an action figure of Dr. Gelman, that would sell like hotcakes.
Oh, absolutely, probably would. You know,
the stand-up character behind the TV. Are we looking at the wrong photo?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he means that one.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, he did like a paper cut out there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, on that. So that was my. As I was making it, I thought I've got to use the reference photos for this and make it look as realistic as possible. How do I make it look good? So I used the photo cutout of you to just put next to it as I was painting it and going, yeah, that looks like the photo. So I could actually visualize it. But
so were you involved?
That's long since gone.
You sent me the photos. We'll go over it quickly. Were you involved with the logo for Croc Drop then? You sent, yeah.
No, I just sent that as the voiceover. So, yeah.
Oh, you do the voiceover
Nick Hudson. Yeah, I'm the voice of Croc Drop.
All right. I've not been on Croc Drop.
Nor have I. I'm going on it in 3 weeks, I think, is when I'm going on it.
I'll be out on Towers on Saturday.
So yeah, it'll be. I mean, I've done quite a lot of voiceover with Nick.
Have you replaced Pete Cliff on the fireworks voice thing?
Not yet.
I could see you doing that well.
No. I would love to give the fireworks show a go, voice-wise. I mean, I can recreate his voices anyway. Listen, from a young age, I've been able to do voices, and that was one that I always thought, oh, this is, something I can do. I probably shouldn't do it live, but,
as well.
I can.
Is that ScareCon? Which is happening soon, isn't it? It's the 10th, is it? Or the 11th?
It is, yes. 2 weeks, the 9th. Yeah, that weekend. That's going to be brilliant. That's why my background's a bit of a mess at the moment. Half the shop is disintegrated and is in another workshop ready to be transported down there. And I'm still trying to get things sorted. I'm on that last little push that you sort of think panic mode. Because obviously working a full-time job and doing this at the weekend. So that's the Alchemist. So speaking of Michael Haynes and Jerry, Mike actually got us a gig in Liverpool at this hotel, which name, excuse me, escapes my mind, but they had this rooftop sort of like garden area and event space called the Eden. I think it was the Eden Garden or Garden of Eden. And they basically got Mike in with this company, and it was up to Mike to get people in to be these characters for the event. So Mike reached out to me and a few others and was like, I'd like you to be involved. So we went down there, and I was the Alchemist, who is that character on the screen. And it's basically just working with a load of Z-list celebrities all night. Yeah, that's right, Joe. The nightclub in Liverpool thing. It's a rooftop. It was weird. It was a very strange night. There's a photo of all of us together. So there's Mike Haynes there, Jerry, Stu Marno as well, Laura.
Was there a theme, or were you just all...
woman whose name I forgot next to Jerry?
Was there a theme to that, or were you just all random personalities there?
Next question. There was a theme. We were all eccentric. So the Alchemist was kind of, yeah. It was from what I remember, my character was a sort of Willy Wonka of it all. He was the sort of brains behind it, the sort of owner of the hotel, if you like, the crazy, I've come with this idea. Because the hotel itself, the Shankly Hotel, Liverpool, if you've ever been, it's just amazing. But their rooms are incredible. So we were kind of different characters from different areas. So we obviously have the maid there, the cook, Jerry. God knows what he was, but he was something. Mike, who was the what is the term for it? No, not so much. Like the maitre d' of it all, the greeter, and sort of, I suppose Stu and Jerry were the sort of owners of the hotel. They were the proper we own it, and I'm the cool kid, I'm the millionaire, and you sort of like that. So altogether, I suppose we all had our own little story, but who really knows? We were just there to have a lot of good fun and launch the event, and it was a brilliant night. I had some brilliant laughs with some fantastic friends. So I'm not going to read Jerry's comment, but it's there for you to see. That was a thing, all the running theme throughout all that night. Yeah.
So is that the death cell? These photos here with the you were talking about death cell before.
Yes. So on the right hand side, that's Andrew's room from Death Cell, which was the 2018 smash hit award winner, Death Cell by Our Space Productions. Yeah, that was built in 4 days.
More photos. That was Death Cell, wasn't it?
Yeah, I sort of sent them in a random order. I just sort of panicked and sent you a load of stuff. Yeah, we had 4 days to build Death Cell, and that was a complete from nothing to fully ready to hand over.
It's just like a complete solo
and open 4 days. Yeah, so Death Cell, what is a scare attraction? Not so much a maze. I don't think there are any typical scare mazes left anymore. Because a maze, really, you have multiple routes you go down, you get lost, but most of them are linear now and have more stories, so they're more immersive than they used to be. But Death Cell was that middle ground between an immersive experience in theatre and escape room. So this was one of the escape room elements of it. So there was 2 of them that worked side by side, and I was tasked with doing a hell of a lot of stuff. But that was my room that I was given, so I did about 95% of all the scenic work in that room, and had a couple of extra people in just to do odd jobs afterwards to put the game element in. So these photos were taken before those elements were put in.
There was an
and literally
to it.
About a minute after I took that photo, you'd go back in and it'd be covered with all these numbers and numerals for the game. So
it was like an escape room.
Yeah. So
okay.
I suppose I can talk about it because it's happened, and when it comes back, it will be different, I'm sure. Death Cell story is it's a bit, I suppose, Black Mirror-ish in a sense. You get nominated by people. It's in the near future world of Brexit and everything else that's happened. You get nominated by people to go into the Death Cell, which is like a prison. The way you get nominated is you basically get a poll card and you put names on and you throw it in there. And if your name gets picked, you get kidnapped by these characters called the Flies. So you will then wake up in Death Cell, and Death Cell is a fight to the death, hence Death Cell. So as the guest experience, you come in, you've been nominated, you've gone yourself, so you've handed yourself over, so you've not been kidnapped because immersive experiences don't work if you're getting kidnapped. You've handed yourself over after being nominated, you get into your prison uniform, then it splits off. So we had show scene A and show scene B. Show scene A was where I worked a lot, which was a shower room. Show scene B was the electric chair. And in each show, you had a different storyline that followed a different character in the attraction. You then joined up in the, what did we call it? What was it called? The arena, where we had stooges, and that was where the theatre element came in, more so, where we simulated a fight happening between one member of the Death Cell and a member of the audience who was a stooge. Then you got split up into 2 different escape rooms. So you had Andy's room, and then you had Ryan's room. So Andy's is the one that's there, and Ryan's room is all right. Andy's and Ryan's. Yes. Is basically a dark hall just completed. You're on a time skip, in there for about 50 minutes. And once the time was up, they got taken out into the finale areas. And there was a lot of bits in between. But it really blended, escape room and theatre and scare attraction all into one. And it was brilliant fun, I have to admit.
Ian's asking, what games did you play between yourselves in top?
Gower,
Are
you
you
know
allowed to
exactly
say?
what games we played. No, next question, Your Honour. I mean, you have to play games to keep yourself occupied on slower times and periods, but we played Past the Skull, which is probably the only thing I'm allowed to talk about. Past the Skull was basically a mini skull with a jaw that clacked together. And if you got given the skull at the end of the day, you had a forfeit, and that could be anything. But the best part about it is you would just be there, you'd have scared a group, and then you just hear this click, 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 and you just see people run because they did not want to be given the skull. And that used to be so much fun. And that was played with everybody. So that wasn't just the actors who got involved, it was the host as well. Because most mazes I've worked in, we include everyone. Yeah. It was like, Tig, once you've got it, you're it, you know. So once you got given a skull, you had to give it to someone else, but you couldn't give it back to the same person. And it was very tricky to play because in a maze, you're only allowed to go backwards, forwards, backwards, backwards. So from a guest point of view, backwards. So you move forward to the beginning of the maze. So if there's a group, you can get back to your position. But if you go the other way and you miss a group, that's very bad. So you were sort of left with, well, they've just given it for me from there. Where do I go? Have I got time? So you were playing a game of cat and mouse with a guest because you needed to make sure you were scaring them and not missing a group. But also, have I got time after this group to run up to the finale, give it to one of those guys, and then get back to scare another group? So you'd really be timing it. And I'm pleased to say nobody missed a group, and we all had a lot of fun. But there was a lot of games like that happened in those years.
Are you allowed to say what any of the forfeits were?
Sorry?
You allowed to say what any of the forfeits were?
No. I can't remember them. They were only very silly ones. There was nothing, bad about it. It'd just be like, oh, eat an orange whilst we all chant at you, and stupid stuff like that. Or when we did the extremes, if there was a position that was particularly bad, and no one really enjoyed, your forfeit was to be on that position. Not very extravagant forfeits, but yeah.
Have you got anything in your workshop you want to show us?
Anything in the workshop I want to show you? No.
Yeah. No.
There's a lot of stuff in here, and it's a bit messy. I suppose I could show you Altonville. Let me just get that down. Show you that in person. And I'll show you the scale of it as well, I guess. This is very finicky to get off here. Let's see. It's very dusty as well, which is the nature of a workshop. Here is Altonville in the flesh. There it is. I haven't got any batteries to hand, but let's just pretend it's lit up.
Oh,
that's
still impressive for 6 hours.
Yeah, like I say, it was around about 6 hours. It really wasn't that hard. This was the easiest one. The stones at the bottom are real stones, For me, it wasn't anyway. The hardest was Carnival and Big Top by far because the
little details on it.
Yeah, and I don't believe in 3D printing. It can be great sometimes, and I have to admit, on the Sanctuary, one of the lights, and in subs as well. No, just the one in Sanctuary. Yeah, just the one in Sanctuary is a 3D printed light casing that the LEDs slip into. That's the only time I'll use a 3D printer. They have the time and the places. They're good. They're good for making prototypes of things. But when it comes to actually miniatures, I'm not a fan of them. Resin 3D printers all day long. But your normal, typical 3D printers leave print lines, and I absolutely despise them.
Yeah.
I can't stand print lines. So I tend to not use them. Big Top and Carnival would be very easy to recreate as a 3D model on a computer software, which I think I did once for Carnival, and then get them printed. The way I made mine was I printed them off to the scale that I wanted, glued them on a sheet of MDF, some scrap MDF I had lying around, about 4mm MDF, 5mm. And then I cut it out on the bandsaw. And then to get all the details, I carved it out with a Dremel. So every little line and every little bit of 3Dness was literally chiseled out with a Dremel.
How long did that take you?
They took me a day each from start to finish. So they were made and painted and then finished in a day each. So for both of those, it took 2 days in total. So one day was Carnival, the next day was Big Top, and then I was done. I was like, I'm not doing these again. I'm never making one of these again.
Have you used the laser cutter?
What's that?
Have you used the laser cutter?
I haven't. No, I've never used the laser cutter. I don't think we even had one at school.
Right. Ian's got a question coming up.
Okay.
I just thought I would jump in because I got this question of someone when they found out you were coming on the show. From a purely cosmetic and structural aspect, not the actual thrill, which is best roller coaster Alton Towers? Cosmetic, aesthetically pleasing, and structural, but not essentially for the actual ride experience, but looking at it cosmetically, what is the best roller coaster?
It's a difficult one to answer, isn't it? Because they've all shown their age, shall we say.
I'm always surprised by how popular Rita is outside of the diehard enthusiasts, but diehard enthusiasts
I think Rita's stained constant, but there's also very little theming on it.
Oh yeah, nothing to do with the theming. I'm just saying I'm always surprised by
how popular it is. Yeah. It's a very tricky one to answer because each one can't really be compared to the other because there's a lot of different things going on.
Oh yeah, but what would you say is the best in your opinion? Like your favorite, I guess. Then it'd be an opinionated thing.
Best aesthetically pleasing.
Surprisingly, I'd say 13 probably isn't, in my opinion, because you've got the towers right there, and it's pretty much the same, but not.
I'm going to be very controversial here. The Runaway Mine Train.
Really?
It's the only one that I can look at now and go, none of this looks out of place. This looks okay. It looks old in the right places because the aesthetic's meant to be old.
It's a bit
like Big Thunder Mountain in Disney.
I'm surprised they put VR on the Runaway Mine Train. Do you imagine? That would have been great.
That'd be cool.
That would have been better than Galactic.
I mean, I would say Nemesis, but Nemesis needs an overhaul. But that's probably the most impressive build.
I was going to ask you, do you know if it's actually closing?
That was a field. Do I know when?
Are they closing it?
I might know, but I'd have to kill you.
Okay. Right. Ian says,
I don't know anything.
What has been the best maze you've worked in and why?
Sanctuary. Don't need an explanation.
Well, I was going to say, if you elongate that to immersive experiences, I'm sure you would say that your time at Thought Park doing I'm a Celebrity was probably your favourite.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I'm a Celebrity.
What was that like? I never went in that.
Oh, it was so good. Like,
was it like Crystal Maze?
Yeah.
Was it an interactive thing?
Pretty much like Crystal Maze, I'd say. Yeah. So the idea behind it is you were entering the jungle as new campmates, and we'd already been in there for 2 weeks or whatnot. Like in the TV show, when they have the late arrivals, you were the late arrivals. We were the campmates already there. We introduced you to the camp, and then you were getting stuck in. So you had Holy Moly, which is one of the first trials, where you had to put your hands in holes and pass a star. In my year, you had to pass a star through the rocks. Get it to the end in 30 seconds. Obviously, there was creatures and critters in there, not real ones, but stuff to give the illusion. After that, you went into the Chambers of Horrors, which is where Ricky thought he was getting a ream spray tan. Turns out it was a trip down to the Bush Bar. And you got into these shower cubicles where you had to answer a question. If you got it right or you got it wrong, you had horse feed put on you. Didn't matter what you pressed, you were getting dunked on anyway. After the Chambers of Horrors, you then went into the... Well, we had a cave, and originally there was a character in there, but then we didn't have the character in there, which is Banter Rock, basically. It's just a dark cave where you go through and have to find your way through. And then you go through a tunnel, and you enter... I can't think what we call it. I think it was the camp cleaner, the clean, whatever they call that, the area of the camp. I mean, doing laundry there, and you had to spell out the words jungle on some underwear and put it on a washing line. The character there was based off, was it Lady C, who just kept passing out? She's like, I'm not doing it. Oh! So it was very much based on her that year. Lord Harrington Fox. They were the character there. So every trial was meant to be, oh, we want you to do this trial. You're going to help us complete this trial. And then you went to Kiosk Kate or Kiosk Ken, which was amazing. So you got to be Kiosk Keith's family member. So you had the big mustache and stuff. And me and Jamie, guy that I worked with, both, and we're the only ones who had mustaches. And we got told, oh, you don't really need them. But we just both went, but how funny will it be? So we actually we actually put them over our mustaches, yeah. And his fell off. Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but his fell off one day during a show. It started to fall off, so he just went whoosh, out of the mustache underneath. And then to end it, you went down a glossophobia tunnel and then up to a big slope down a slide, which was meant to be a celebrity cycling. That's very good. And what made it better is it felt, for me, when I worked there, and I've got so much fond memories of Thorpe because of this particular time, is we were working on Darren Brown's Ghost Train. We all knew we were going to get to work with Darren and rehearse Ghost Train, which is exciting anyway, to open a new product. But the time of year that we had beautiful weather that season, that time of year. And I remember going to work every single day, walking across the bridge, hearing the music, which was different back then. It was like the chart music, and it just made you feel good. And every day I was there, it felt like I was working abroad, like I was on holiday getting paid to do this amazing thing. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, Celeb will always have a fond place in my heart, really.
So in that sense, it is like Sanctuary.
Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of Scare Maze, Sanctuary, hands down. It's just... I remember when I got the phone call to say I was going to be in it. I was working at the resort anyway that year in entertainment. So my friend Tom at the time gave me a call, and he was like, "Have you seen the no, a different Tom." He'd give me a call, and he was like, "Have you seen the cast list? It's up." And I went, "No, why?" And he went, "I'm just going to say it exactly as I said it. So if you're offended by bad language, tune off now." That's all I'm saying. And I was like, he said to me, "Have you seen the cast list?" I went, "No, why?" He says, "You're going to love this." I went, "What?" He says, "You're in the Sanctuary." I went, "Shit off." He went, "You're in the Sanctuary." And I went, "You are winding me up, Tom. No way. Absolutely no way am I in the Sanctuary." And he went, "You're in the Sanctuary, mate." And I just screamed for about a solid hour because I loved going through that attraction. So knowing I was going to get to be a part of its history was just phenomenal. And I had the best time. I got to do every single position, including Jerry's corridor. Little known fact, I did Jerry's speech on several occasions for him when he wasn't in, with Paul Matthews as well. We were the doctors that year, the three of us together. And the way I got to do it was quite sad. I'll tell you the official story.
You're allowed to.
Jerry wasn't very well, so he rang in sick. And Porrell was in London, so there was no one to be the doctor to do the speech, and everyone was shitting themselves and panicking. And my show captain came up to me whilst I was getting my prosthetics on with a smile and went, "I have a question for you." And I went, "Okay." So, "Do you know Jerry's speech?" And I went, "No, but I could probably paraphrase it." Why? Thinking it's like just a random, "Do you know what it is? Do you know what's actually being said?" And she went, "Okay. Because I need someone to be the doctor, and I think you're the only person who's going to be able to do it for me." So she was like, get out of that stuff and get into the doctor's stuff and meet me down there in 5. So I went down, I was stood on the corridor shaking because I was like, this is the most iconic part of this maze. And when Jerry was either on break or well, just was on break, wasn't there, we were another doctor, Jerry, we used to say, we're very sorry, Dr. Kalman can't be with you today. He's been gone away on business. And that used to be our way of saying, well, he's around because you've seen him on the screens, but he isn't here talking to you. But we are not him. We were never trying to be him. He was him. But we were just someone else who worked there. And I just remember shitting myself thinking, oh my God, this is mega. There's only a handful of people, I think 4 people in total who've ever done that corridor, and I'm one of them. And that was like such a big thing. Because I would never have thought that would have happened. If you'd have sat me down as a kid and gone, one day you're going to see someone do a job that you are just going to do one day that's so iconic, and you're going to step in their shoes for just a snippet of time. Absolutely mental, because and I'll never forget that. And I thought I was doing it just for a couple of hours before Porrell got there. And when Porrell did get there, he took me off a break. And then the next day they went, so we're going to give Porrell a break, and it's going to be you and Jerry on this rotation. And I got put on the rotation with them. So it ended up being the 3 of us doing it for the rest of the run. I think it was only about a week left. But yeah, I must have done it about 4 days. And it was just phenomenal to be able to do something like that. Much love to you, Jerry. Honestly, listen, I still talk with you with fond moments, Jerry. Honestly, there's never a dull moment. I remember one of the first times meeting you, and I just thought, "Wow, you are my cup of tea." Are
you allowed to talk about that at all or not?
Well, it's personal and private stuff, but you just when you meet someone for the first time outside of
just like clips,
them performing, and they're a total different person, but at the same time they're not. That they're still them, but you've never met them before, other than their characters they've played. When I first met Jerry, I thought, wow, you are nothing like Dr. Kalman. You are this wonderful person that everyone has always raved about, and truly, really was. And certainly I always get a buzz whenever I know I'm going to be seeing Jerry. I've seen him a couple of times out here and there at places, and it always just makes you feel happy because he's just such a lovely guy.
Did you help make the instruments for the fireworks show that year?
No, but I was assistant stage management for that show in 2015.
I thought that was brilliant, that one.
It was the best! Maybe only topped closely by the show last year, just because the music was amazing, especially the Nemesis segment. I was like, chills. 2015, what a roller coaster of a year, if you pardon the pun. At the end of Scarefest, they were asking the team if anyone wanted to help out stage manage the fireworks show. So I obviously volunteered because I was like, well, yeah, I've done stage management before, and let's see what it's about. And they needed 4 of us. We had no idea.
Okay.
We had no idea. All we knew is they needed some stage managers, and we were like, yeah, sure. So we were all, there was 4 of us, and we were all our own manager of our own stage, if you will, but we were only assistants.
Were you playing the instruments?
No, so I was responsible for making sure the instruments on my particular stage got there on time. I was there to hand over the instruments to performer and take them back, but also make sure basically no one was messing with any of the props or staging, mop the staging before the shows if it had been a rainy show and things like that, and basically look after them. Everything that a stage manager would do, we did on our own podiums. And I got the best view out of everyone. So my podium was the second one from the first one on the right of the Ferris wheel, not the Ferris wheel, the Enterprise wheel.
Yeah, I know.
And the girl that I was working with, we got really close that year, and we had a really good rapport with each other, and it was just incredible. And when we did the preview, so we did a tech run of just the sound. And we'd done a couple of rehearsals in our rehearsal space there anyway. So I'd already heard the music. So before the finale music was played to everyone else, I'd already heard it. So I knew what was coming. And I was so excited. And Pete Cliff literally turned to me and just went, good, isn't it? I went, Pete, it is the best thing I've ever heard. Because hearing the music all mixed in like that was just, it just worked, you know? So we then went out to do the staging with all the tech, but without the pyro. And I just remember sitting there thinking, this show is going to be fantastic. And then when we saw it with the pyro, which was the first time we performed it, I had no idea because no one had told us there was pyro on the Enterprise wheel. And oh my God, it scared the crap out of us because we were so close to that thing. And it went off and we were there like, Jesus Christ! Oh, it's quite warm. But, oh my God! So that was always the best moment. So when that moment happened, I used to turn around to the audience a little bit just to see the people who were close to me crap themselves. It was just, I mean, it's a good like 25, 30 foot away from you, but just still the impact of it all going off was incredible.
Still feel the heat.
And oh yeah. But that show was just fantastic. The pre-show to it, the music, everything. It was just it. Even if I wasn't a part of the show as what I was, I still would regard that show so highly. But for me, it's got extra memories to it, and you know those photos are just two of those memories. The building that we used to be the old control room for the fireworks is no longer with us. Sadly, that's long gone and been replaced. But that's inside that building, and we had the instruments with us. So we then let's have some photos. So we all did have photos. It was brilliant. Question there from Gower. Oh yes, absolutely, Gower. I'm so gutted you're not going to be with us at ScareCon this year, but I definitely will cheer Creed Farm for you. It's going to be weird not having you there and not having about 10 beers in my hand going, one of these is yours, mate. Yeah.
We've overshot for time a bit, so I'm probably not going to do a quiz this week. I've not done a quiz the last couple of weeks.
I mean,
to be fair.
I'm happy to keep talking if you're happy to. You know, I really don't mind.
Well, we haven't actually talked much about Scream Effect. I don't know if you want to talk about go into that a bit more. What you're up to at the moment?
No, not really. No.
She told me before the show, bit behind the scenes here. You said, we're still doing the show. I'll make sure I've got some of the figurines and stuff available. And then I say to you during the show, can we see some of your stuff? And you're like, no.
Yeah, I forgot. I mean, I have an axe.
I feel a bit bad that I haven't got the photos of the house after we.
Oh, I mean, people can find it on social media.
They can look at the thumbnail. So, it's in the thumbnail for this video.
It's in the thumbnail. Yeah, go check the thumbnail. I'm actually going to be putting a video up of that anyway at some point on my own YouTube channel on here. So,
what YouTube channel is that?
Scream Effects Co. I think it literally is just that. I don't think there's anything else to it. All the handles that I have are all the same. So, just
you put it as your name on the.
Yeah.
That came up in discussion last week, by the way.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, because other than you, Ryan from iCoaster was the first person, other than you, to put his YouTube channel in the name thing instead of his own name. It's like just plaster the advertising.
Oh yeah, free advertisement. You're gonna do it, aren't you? You know. So just go search that, and there'll be a video on Jewel there, or the Haunted House. It is modelled after the Haunted House, but everyone just says Jewel or whatever. It's the same building. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Scream Effects. So I when I left Thorpe in 2016, I had a gap year, summer. I refer to it as the gap year because it felt like a year. And in that time, I sort of sat down.
Because you were at Towers.
Yeah, so I worked at Towers. There was a lot of budget cuts, and in those budget cuts, basically, the Street Team and Pirates cast, in a way, were made redundant because they were getting rid of the shows, getting rid of Street. So the only products left for us to do was CBeebies Land, and I didn't want to do CBeebies Land for a whole year after already doing it.
I don't know how long you're going to stay on here, Keiron, but do you want to say goodbye to Jerry before he's about to go?
Oh, thank you so much for joining us, Jerry. It's been so lovely to hear from you and answer some questions. I hope you're doing so well. I'll have to message you soon, and we'll have to catch up. But yeah, much love, Jerry. I'll speak to you soon.
Jerry.
Oh, I'm so glad you joined. It's really nice. Yeah, so the Pirate Cast and Street team basically, I say got made redundant. We didn't officially get made redundant, but when you say made redundant, people understand it a lot more because they know what redundancy is. Our products that we
back as well.
Yeah. Oh, bless him. Our products were no longer available to do for us, and it was do CBeebies Land. And I was already trained in CBeebies Land anyway. I just didn't want to do it for another year. I felt like I'd reached my end with CBeebies Land at that point in my career, and I didn't want to do it for a year solid, knowing that's all I would be doing. So I saw that Thorpe were auditioning, and I thought, let's go and live in London for a bit. Let's go and work at Thorpe. So I applied, went down, auditioned. Well, actually, I applied and got a interview. I went down for an interview, and I was like, I'm here to speak to entertainment about an audition. And they're like, oh, right, okay. No one from Enter's here today, but we'll see you for these positions. I was like, well, not really, but I was there for the day, so I thought, right, sorry, it's taken me 4 hours to get down here. I might as well just sit through whatever. And then about 2 weeks later, they offered me a job on rides, and I went, thank you so much. I am going to decline because that's not what I want to do. And then Entertainment's emailed me back saying, hi, so sorry. We've seen your application, auditions on this date. We'd love to see you. So then I went down about a week later from the initial time I went down there, did the audition. Then on the way back, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know how that went. The time I got back, I had an email to say, you have got a recall in like 2 days' time. I was like, oh, God, right. Shit, okay. Went down for the recall, and on the way back up from the recall, well, whilst I was down there, I had a look for some houses because I was like, better make a plan just in case. So I found somewhere to live anyway. If I got the job, amazing, but if I didn't, it doesn't matter. On the way back up, halfway up the M6, I wasn't driving. My mum had come down with me, so whilst I was at the audition for the recall, they could go around and look at estate agencies and some of the places that we'd already looked at up here. On the way back up, I got a phone call about an hour into the journey, and it was Craig Jennings, not Craig Jennings, Craig's surname, Craig, who was one of the assistant managers on the entertainment team, and he gave me a call and he was like, "Hey, how are things? Great audition. Would love to offer you the job. You start in 3 days' time." So I was like, I'm moving to London. And then that was my start of the Thorpe Park adventure. And whilst I was there, I met so many wonderful people, like Steph Ricketts, Leah Parker, just to name 2 of them, but there's so many of them that I've met. And,
you were there for the whole year. You were there for the whole season.
I was there so the way that they run it is they have a spring, summer, and fall cast. So the spring cast runs from the start of season plus pre-season, so about February time, all the way up to June, like the last week of June to July. July is then the summer cast up to Fright Nights, and then you have your Fright Nights cast that lead on. There was an opportunity to stay for near enough the whole year, but I decided to call my time early. Not because I didn't enjoy it, not because I didn't like it, just because I felt like I needed to go home. It's almost like a calling in a way, and I would have stayed, and I'd probably still be there now if Immersive was still there because I enjoyed it so much. But I've been so lucky in the fact that every cast I've worked with has been an incredible cast, and Thorpe was no exception. We became a family. We really were like a little family, and it was just so amazing. That combined with it feeling like a working holiday was just fantastic. It never felt like I worked there. Like did a days of work because it was just always so much fun.
You reminded me of something I said to Jerry a few weeks ago. I said we were talking about the Sanctuary, and he said it's similar to you. He said it never felt like effort. They all enjoyed doing it. And then I said something about a quote where if you find a job you love, you never work a day in your life. And he just turned around and went, I wouldn't put it quite like that. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I would have it Thorpe really. In
What was
celeb,
it like?
it was brilliant.
The outside the job, if you like, being in that area rather than being in the Midlands when you worked at Towers. What was it like?
The social side was fantastic because I already had friends down there. Evie was one of them. She literally lives, a stone's throw away from Thorpe. So me moving down there was me moving close to one of my friends, and it was great. Sam Jones as well, who I think a couple of people watching will have heard the name Sam Jones. He lives down there, and I knew him through people at Towers. It might have been yourself, Mike, actually introduced me to Sam.
And as Jerry put it, Jacques Louis.
Yeah, Jack. Well, he was up here at that time, but he did live down there. But we'd sort of swapped. So he came from Thorpe, came to Towers, and I sort of went from Towers to Thorpe. But obviously, I knew Jack anyway. He was my show captain a couple of times. His stuff up here. So for me, the outside of work was nice because it was like I got my friends there. Missed my family, of course, but they came down and saw me every so often, and that's what phone calls are for. So I wasn't, too bothered. And the house that I was in was really nice as well. But the thing that nailed the coffin is my contract for Thorpe was officially a 3.5-month contract. The house I was staying in, they were moving out. So I was on basically a spare bedroom, spareroom.com or whatever.
Yeah.
Is how I found out. So I had a room in a house with a family. So it wasn't like a student accommodation. Okay. I could have had a flat by myself, but for the time that we had to find somewhere, which was 3 days, and in that day we'd found this house, and I'd already seen it, and I went, "That's like beautiful." Bearing in mind, it's literally the arse end of London. The room that I was in, as I looked out, and it was a little like almost archway window. It was beautiful. All I could see for miles was fields and trees, and I was like, "How is this my view?" Because there's no greenery anywhere else. And it was the view that sold me. It was a private driveway and everything else. I was like, yeah, cool. I don't care. I'll park on the road. But that view was like, I want it just for that view because it felt like home. It's really, really nice. But they were moving out the day after my contract would have officially ended. So I was like, oh, do I find somewhere else to live down here, knowing I'm going to have to move all my stuff? Or do I just move back home and end my contract when it was meant to end? And there was me and somebody else. We were the only two of that team that didn't renew our contracts. She went to New York, to the New York Film School. And I came back up here. And that was the moment when, listen, I miss Thorpe every day. And I part of me still regrets not renewing my contract to find somewhere else to live. But there was a new cast that came in anyway. There was more people, and I helped rehearse those guys into the show. And it was brilliant. They were lovely. So I would have got on with them. It might have not been the same. So you look back and you go, had I have stayed, I probably would have had more fun. Had I have stayed, I might have not have done. Who knows? But the memories that I have are fantastic. So why change them? But in that year away, coming back up here, the few months between that and then going back to Towers for Scarefest that year, I set up Scream Effects Co. as a legitimate
we finally
thing I wanted to do. Yeah, finally, after about an hour. That was the point when I went, why not? Why not? I've learned so much over the years, and I'm still learning. Why not do this as something that I enjoy and make it something that people can reach out to, and know and want. In the early days, it was shocking. It was so bad. I hadn't got a clue about branding really at that point, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was very horror and goth based. Now it's all bright colours and sunshine, because the name in itself, Scream Effects Co., people think, oh, it's very horror based, but you scream with joy. When I'm sure everyone has seen this happen. When you're watching a film or a TV show, and a character appears that you've not seen for a long time, and it's your favourite character, or it's a big reveal, you go, oh my God, ah! You're screaming with joy. That anticipation, that's what Scream Effects Co. does. You're not just screaming because you're scared of the horror. You're screaming at the entertainment factor we're bringing to you. So that's why I kept the name through all this years, because for me it works. And the co is company in the sense of it's not just me. It's anybody who wants to be a part of this magical journey. So if you are a costume maker and I need you to do some costuming, I'll reach out to you and be like, hey, need some costuming, can you do this? Your artwork and everything else remains yours. Do with that what you want, but do it under our name for this. So it's like a package. So everything's all organized and neat, but your artwork, your creativity, the thing that you help to bring to life remains your property. That's your artwork. Feel free to share that with whoever you want. There are other places that I've worked where they've gone, okay, don't post photos anywhere of this. I'm like, but I'm proud of the work I've done here. And that's why I want it to be. I want it to be that difference and change.
Your industry is something that needs to be seen, isn't it? That's the whole point of it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Whilst it's being built, there are NDAs covering everything. Don't leak anything. Don't whatever. But once it's out there, once it's open to the public,
it's public domain. Yeah,
it's public domain. That people are going to come and see it. As long as you're not giving the plot away, I want you to share your costumes. I want you to share your artwork because you've put this effort and work into that, and that's something I want to do different with Scream Effects Co. It's not just me doing everything. It's a collaborative effort, all done by one name. But that artwork, the properties that you create as an individual working for me, is yours still, and that's not what happens in a lot of other places. A lot of other places, it's I've not been able to post this for 6 years because I was working for the business, blah blah blah. But now I don't care because I'm not with them. And no, that's not how it should be. You should be excited to share your work because you're going to get work from that. If someone comes to me and goes, "Oh, we really love those costumes. Can you make me some?" I'll go, "No, but here's Linda who produced them. Go speak to Linda, and she'll be happy to speak to you about stuff." That's not an agency, but just honesty. I think fully transparent with everything.
Are you allowed to talk about the dungeons in any way, or not?
Like with anything Merlin based, it depends what the question is. If it's a particular thing, obviously I can't. But if it's a generic, how you're finding your time there, so I can answer that in a constructive way.
You've been in the other dungeons attractions, right?
No, I've been through them as a guest. I've never performed in them.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. But what I'm saying is, you've been in some of the other dungeons at least.
Yeah, I've done London, Blackpool, and Warwick. I've yet to go to the others, but they're on my bucket list.
Do you think, because they're kind of the same but different, are there any rooms from some of the other ones you think would have worked well in the Alton one that didn't get put in? I was always I might have this wrong, but the first time I went in there, I always thought the Dick Turpin room was a bit weird, because wasn't Dick Turpin more in Essex?
I don't really think I can answer this as much as I'd like to answer it.
Okay.
For legal reasons. It's a conversation for at the pub, I think. But I think in general it works as an attraction.
What room? What room would you put in from one of the other dungeons?
It's tricky, to be honest, because they're all very similar. I think there isn't a room from another dungeons I'd like to have seen. I think for me, I would have liked to have seen more unique in Staffordshire and push the boundary. Like, for example, one of the things that I think they missed out on is bringing it to a more modern audience, because Staffordshire is incredibly haunted. There's a book called Haunted Staffordshire, and it talks about all sorts of stuff. But there's the Cannock Chase ghosts and aliens, all that thing there. Would have been nice to have done something like that, even on the boat ride, have like a sign that says to Cannock Chase, so many miles, keep out haunted. Just something subtle, something more. I would have liked more. It being in my hometown, I don't sound like it, but I am born and bred in Stoke. I would have liked to have seen more. Instead of the Welsh Harp Inn, why not the Leopard Inn from Burslem, which is incredibly haunted, also has ties with Robbie Williams. Just little things. But again, those are very nitpicky. The whole thing that is there currently works, and people do really like it. So,
would you have liked to see the chained oak used in it somewhat, or do you think that's been milked?
Yeah. No, I would have. I really would have, yeah. I think the story of Hex could be elaborated more in a walkthrough. I think it would have been nice to have seen more of the frantic story of what the Earl did to
there
the
is
oak
some of
to
the
make it
story,
work
isn't
and
there?
what happens, you know, because obviously there was deaths. So it'd have been nice maybe to have had a scene or a room to do with the death of a family member and how that's affected the Earl, and have more of a less historical, but more of a mythological, because you know magic doesn't really exist. Sorry, kids, but
Tell you what, the Throughput
illusions
would be
exist.
amazing.
And it would have been
You've got
nice,
2 or
you
3
know.
more rooms in there. The Throughput would be amazing. Should be less time in the queue. Be like, oh, there's
Well,
5 rooms going on at once.
yeah. I mean, yeah. But hey, it's brilliant to work in. I think it works, and that's probably all I can say.
Yeah, don't say anything you're not allowed to say.
If I get my P45 tomorrow, I'll let you know. But no, I mean, with that though, I have to say it just to cover my back, I suppose. I'm an artistic director. Everyone has their own taste. No one's going to like everything. No shoe fits all. What I might come up with, the person, Keiron Smith, who created the dungeon, might go, "That's shit. I'm not having it." There's always going to be conflicts and collabs. So what we've got is what one creative wanted. What I would have done different is irrelevant, to be honest.
The funny thing is, I find stuff like the dungeons, whichever one I go to, I've been to a few of them, I find that much more anxiety-inducing than a scare maze, because I go in there and I'm like, I might get picked on this scene. I might get picked on this scene. Whereas I go in a scare maze, it's like, oh, I'm going to get jumped at, but it's not. I've not got anywhere near as much anxiety as when I go in the dungeon.
Unless I see you in a scare maze, in which case you might get a little extra something picked on. No, I get what you mean with that. I mean, the dungeons is very hands-on in a sense anyway, and like you say, it gives you that anxiety.
I did have one run
please
through.
Don't hit me, and you know.
I did have one run through. I think it was a couple of years ago now, I think, and I got picked on in every one of the rooms you can get picked out on. And
well,
the thing was,
I mean,
in the first scene, I lied and said my name was Travis, and then when I got picked on in the cage scene, I was like, I looked around at the people with me and thought, I'm gonna have to say my name's Travis. Because everyone, and then when we got into the scene at the end with Molly Lee, this mum who was with the family turned around to me and went, "Don't worry, Travis, I get picked on all the time at these things normally," and I'm just like, "My name's not Travis."
Your name's not Travis, but thanks. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the way dungeons really gives that anxiety-inducing feeling is people don't listen to the announcements. They don't read the signs. It's an interactive show. People don't know what that means. It means you're going to get picked on. You're going to get pulled out in front of this audience. And once you see one show do that, for the next shows afterwards, you're like, oh, God, please don't be me. I want it to be someone else who gets embarrassed. Don't be me. You know, but I absolutely adore it. You know, that kind of thing is right.
I think it's a good attraction because there are. I think it was like a lot of things that have happened at Towers. There's some things that come like the VR on Galactica and things like that that people go, this is a fad and everything. But I think the Dungeons is pretty decent, and I know it's an extra charge, but I think it's worth it most of the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm in it, so of course it is. But no, we've got a brilliant cast of people up there, and the upcharge is unfortunate if you're spending a lot of money to go, but it is worth the every penny to go and see what we guys do in there, and every time's different, you know. So it's definitely got that there.
What's that reference from? Why don't I get the reference?
Oh God! Hello, Dimitri. Oh,
Can you explain that or not? Are you allowed to?
No, I cannot. No. Nope.
You know, Dimitri doesn't work for them at the moment, but
I know, but I do. So
I get the impression if he does say anything, he probably won't be allowed to anymore.
No, I don't think it's that political, but who knows? But again, it's one of those. So.
Is there anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
I don't know. Have we got any final quick-fire questions? Is there anything that we've missed? I've not been able to see the questions. You know where it's like at the side because I'm on my phone. It doesn't show me them throughout. So apologies, I've not.
Well, I've got a quiz if you want to do one, but it's the questions
do you know what?
Harder.
How are they getting harder?
Well, you scored 9 out of 10 with the Theme Park Fan last time, didn't you?
Yeah, but
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do
They
the
were
quiz.
easy questions.
We'll do the quiz, and if
Yeah.
anyone wants to ask you questions of their own,
Yeah.
then we can chime in with that. And then
Sounds good.
We've overshot this
Sounds
by
good.
half an hour because you just you didn't even show me your figurines.
It's no. Well, the photos are online. I completely forgot to grab them. Yeah, I'm so sorry about
that. Okay, since you think this is going to be easy, question 1.
Okay.
Space Station Zero opened at Thorpe Park as Thorpe Park's first roller coaster in 1984. But what name does the ride now go by?
The Flying Fish.
Oh, he knows it. He knows it. Toon Blaster at Chessington was previously called Terra Tomb, but what was its name before that? I really thought I was getting ready for you to just ace all these after that first question.
No. I do know this, but no, it's gone.
You're gonna kick
I saw it last night. No, I saw it last night. Sorry, so it's now. Go back. Repeat the question, please.
Toon Blaster at Chessington was previously called Terra Tomb. But what was its name before that?
No, it's gone. I can tell you who the composer was for the music.
Who was the composer?
Same person who did.
I thought you were going to go, no, it's gone. I can't tell you who the composer is.
No. Oh, God.
I thought you knew.
No, I'm trying to think of the name of what it's called before. No, pass. It's Graham Smart who did the audio.
The Fifth Dimension.
Oh, Christ, on a bike!
Do you know what got me with logo out of wood or something now? Yeah.
No, but do you know what got me about that? It's as soon as you said the fifth, I went, oh, of course it was. I was still thinking of an Egyptian theme. I should have just bunked my mind of that.
Number 3, Peppa Pig World at Polton's Park. First opened in April of what year?
A whim, 2012.
I'll give you that. It was 2011, but you know that was a bit.
Oh, that's 1 year out. That's not too bad. Yeah.
Number 4, Drayton Manor's new area is set to what theme?
Drayton Manor's new area.
Well, it's opening soon, isn't it? If it's not already.
Well, it's pirates, isn't it? Because they've got the Blue Buccaneer. I
don't know if.
Wait, hang on. Sorry. What did you say? Chessington or Drayton?
Drayton Manors.
Drayton. Sorry. It's Vikings.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the new project that Chesney have got going. I was like, but they're doing work on the thing. Yeah, sorry. Drayton's is Vikings.
Alton Tower's main gift shop on Tower Street is called what?
Towers Trading.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the Towers Trading Company, but you know.
Oh, so your answer's wrong then?
Well, no, because I've told you both answers. I said Towers Trading. You went, yeah, that's right. No, it's actually the Towers Trading Company.
Which ride? Oh, yeah. You know, we should do that from now on. Whenever someone says Towers Trading, everyone else
just actually the Towers Trading Company.
Yeah. Which ride at Chester World of Adventures was removed in 2019?
What ride from Chesney was moved in 2019?
Removed.
2019. Was the Black Buccaneer?
Not what I've got here.
Oh. So it's not that then.
What was their main ride that's not there anymore? It was like their signature ride, wasn't it?
Who, Chesney? Oh, Ramesses Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got that then. With a bit of help from me, you got that.
Well, yeah.
Right. Which Alton Towers scare attraction set in a cornfield was retired in 2009?
Field of a Thousand Screams. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. Which previous Scarefest maze included walking through a marmalization chamber?
A sanctuary.
The Scarefest maze Boiler House took place in what location for its final year?
It's the Black Hole tent.
Yes. Oh, you're doing all right. The family... the family scare attraction situated in Cloud Cookie Land went by what name?
Well, there's technically 2 of them, but House of Monsters was in Cloud Cookie Land. Well, you've got House of Monsters there, but then next to the dungeons, you've got Trick or Treat Town. But it's that's not a proper area. Wow.
Yeah, with a bit of leniency, I give you a 9 out of 10 there. So you did all right.
So same as before.
Well, yeah, but you had
actually no better than before, because before Ryan answered at least 2.
Oh, so you're taking the shackles off now. You're going.
I'm taking the shackles off. Yeah. Well, the thing is like D there. So, call yourself a fan. I'm not a theme park fan as such. It's just the industry that I've come to love and enjoy. Okay, I'm in the musical, but so's Archie Stevenson. I don't think he's a theme park fan. He's a musician. But I just enjoy theme parks. I go for a day out, like people like yourselves. I just have fun with stuff, and it's the industry that I've come to love. So I've got to know some stuff, haven't I? It'd be stupid if I went to a board meeting. You went, "We're going to get rid of this ride." I went, "Sorry, what's that?" I'd have to have some knowledge of stuff, don't I?
So, are you going to be working on Saturday?
Saturday, no, I'm off. Yes. Sorry, I'm excited because
so we missed you last time. You went on break.
I know. A day off of my day job means I'm here also working, but it means I can go for as many bricks as I want here. So,
did you want to give out your social tags before we finish this? Wrap it up.
Yeah, you can get me on Instagram at ScreamEffectsCo, on Facebook at ScreamEffectsCo, on YouTube at ScreamEffectsCo, and on my website www.screameffects.co.uk.
Have you ever
just search Scream Effects Co and you'll find
when Americans say that, they go .co.uk.
.co.uk.
Yeah, I've heard that lately.
Oh, that's weird.
Dimitri is a fan of musicals. He's been in the theatre. He's been in Did you see him in Kinky Boots?
Me?
Yeah. Did you see Dimitri in Kinky Boots?
I did. I saw him twice in Kinky Boots. He was absolutely smashing out of the ballpark. I'm fun of music theatre. There's the bad thing to do. Now get that. Oh, I missed that last bit. Sorry, what's that YouTube one again? Liz, it's at Scream Effects Co. And the Facebook, in case anyone missed it, is also at Scream Effects Co. The Instagram handle is at Scream Effects Co.
Can we get that on a t-shirt?
At Scream Effects Co. Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny you should say that because I've actually got a t-shirt now which says it on.
Got the at. You need to have the at on in front of it. The at symbol.
The at symbol. Do you know what? Just for you, Mike, I'll get you one printed.
Just get some Tipex. And...
yeah. Has anyone got any questions to wrap it up? Liz, I know you asked the question, but I don't think I answered it. I did. No, I did. It was what was the favourite miniature? Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll end it there. Everyone just seems to be forgetting your handles.
Twitter. I don't have Twitter, D. Can't get on with it. But if I did have it, it'd be at Scream Effects Co. Oh my god! Right, this is getting out of hand now.
Oh, I thought you were going to follow up with that. You kind of went, "It's getting out of hand now," and it sounded like you were going to say something.
No. I've just read Stacey's comment, and yes,
it's Sanctuary, damn it.
Yes, D. I'm not sure if you hear, but Sanctuary was my favourite maze to work in. Sorry, I know you weren't in it. But I know it's because obviously I've worked with D on several mazes. It's just my favourite happens to be one you want to work with, but the one I want to work in, wouldn't mind Ortonville. Give that a shot.
Are you allowed to give your opinion on if Tot has outstayed its welcome?
Tot was in Terror of the Towers?
Yeah.
As in the attic, or just the OG that's no longer with us?
Both. It seems like they keep it around.
Well, no,
because it's like the signature name of it almost.
Well,
no, they got rid of it for a season or two.
Right. Here's the thing. It used to be called Terror of the Towers, and then a subheading. So Terror of the Towers, the Bloodfest Banquet. Terror of the Towers, What Lies Within, which lasted for about 11 years. Now it's called The Attic, the Terror of the Towers. So it's become a subheading. The actual maze is the attic. Just the Terror of the Towers is a subheading now. So Tot's no longer with us and hasn't been. It kind of is, but kind of not, I would say. But I don't know. They're both very different from each other. I would like to see the original return, but update it with newer technologies and newer scares. But who knows what will happen?
I think we will end it there then, unless you really want to give out your tags again.
Yeah, I can do, just in case anyone's missed them. You can find us on YouTube at Screwfest Co, on Instagram at Screwfest Co, and on Facebook at Screwfest Co.
The next time you go into work, someone's going to go, "What's your tag for your social media?"
No, do you know what? They absolutely will tomorrow rip me for it, and that's going to be the thing. Every day there's something we banter about, and that is going to be the thing tomorrow. I know it is for a fact, which is fine. You've got to take banter, haven't you?
So yeah, do you want to say anything else to the viewers before I shut this down?
Yeah, the YouTube is at Screwfest Co. No, thanks for having me on again, Mike. It's been a pleasure, and thanks for all your questions. And if you have any more, do shoot them over to me on my personals and stuff, and I will, at Screwfest Co, just in case you forget. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. I mean, yeah, it's normally an hour episode. It's nearly pushing for 2.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just thank you basically for your time as well.
And next week we've got Thrills and Food coming on.
Ooh, lovely.
And we'll be talking about food at the theme parks and probably more about vlogging. And the week after that, which is going to make you almost not want to watch next week now. The week after that, we have got confirmed to me at least. I'm going to have a episode with some of the people who are in the bands performing at Festival of Thrills.
Oh, amazing! Yeah,
we're going to have some people from the Ritual and some people from Lunarfall, and we might get some more as well. So they'll be coming in. That's 2 weeks.
They're all lovely people, so you'll have a wonderful episode of them.
Have you seen The Real Chained Oak before we go?
I have. I have seen The Real Chained Oak.
It's not like it used to be. Those chains, there's not many chains anymore.
Yeah, it's not as grand as you expect it to be anymore, but hey ho, at least it's real.
I don't think I can find solace in that.
Could be fake, couldn't it? But it's real.
So yeah, cheers for watching, and I'll see you next week. Yes. You can tell me how much you like or hate the food at the UK theme parks. I'll see you in the rear view, because now Keiron and his tags and me are gone.